Hi, this is Jack Stanley, and I had some time to sit and think for a while, and something entered my mind, and I thought I would talk about it a little bit. I had a book I was looking at, which is the Analectic magazine, which I get a kick out of because it was full of ideas and thoughts and political ideas and also social ideas. But they were talking about meteorites. And nobody kind of knew what meteorites were in 1814. They thought they came from the Earth. They thought maybe they were made by the Earth, or perhaps even the Moon, or they came from volcanoes or whatever, or even that they were frozen together. I mean, it's fascinating when you read the articles that were written then because nobody really knew. And in 1814, if you went to Egypt and you looked at all of those monuments and saw this writing, and you asked someone about it, nobody would really know. And if you found these monstrous bones in the ground and tried to figure out what it was in 1814, wouldn't really know. Maybe there were giants that lived long ago. Yeah, in the Bible it mentions giants and things like that. This is just 200 years ago. 200 years ago, we did not understand, the writing of ancient Egypt, hieroglyphics. We did not understand paleontology. In fact, the word didn't exist until 1822, as did the first book on hieroglyphics. As to space, we go back a bit further, and we knew about some of the planets, but we did not understand the way the solar system worked. And of course, if you looked at in early biblical times, of course, even into the age of the beginnings of the Renaissance, everyone thought that the sun revolved around the earth, of course. Of course, that's all understood to be ridiculous, and several people had to die because of their opinions. But in 1814, we only knew minute amounts of information about space. And this is what I find so fascinating, that in the space of less than 200 years, we have advanced our knowledge on paleontology. We've advanced our knowledge on space. And of course, we've advanced our knowledge on ancient Egypt. But it's only 200 years. That's not that long. If you want to put it into perspective, that basically understanding hieroglyphics and understanding dinosaur bones, for instance, was near 40 years after the United States Constitution was written. And understanding space came out a little later. Of course, even in the beginnings of the 20th century, we didn't quite understand space. And it wasn't until well to the middle part of the 20th century that space really started to become something we could understand. Of course, with Sputnik, which was 1957. So I think that we should really sit down and say, wow, how much the world has changed in just 200 years. How much we have learned in 200 years. How much we have come to understand in 200 years. Because that's all the time that we have spent in doing this research. And you think about it, the 19th century was this monstrous explosion of knowledge. I think in many ways far stronger than the 20th. Yes, there were great developments in the 20th century, but the massive explosion of knowledge truly is in the 19th century. And now here we are in the year 2020. In the year 2022 will be the 200th anniversary of booklets on hieroglyphics, and the year 2022 will be the 200th anniversary of the word or the theory of paleontology. I would love to be a fly on the wall and look at the world 200 years from now and imagine what we will know about space, about ancient Egypt, and of course, about dinosaurs. We are just on the beginnings of understanding things. It takes a long, long time to understand things that took place over millions of years. There's so many unanswered questions. And of course, with ancient Egypt, there's so many unanswered questions that may never be answered. But I have a feeling, and a guess on my part, that 200 years from now, we will know so much more, we will understand so much more, and we will be able to decipher so much more because of scientific improvements, which will allow us to look at things, to test things, and to examine things in details and in ways we have never dreamed of. So, I always find it fascinating when I think of the future. I find it fascinating when I think of the past. But when history, science, and archaeology merge with modern and new technologies, the sky, if you'll pardon the pun, is indeed the limit. I just thought I would talk about that for a few